Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Friday Oil Drip Chat. I'm Julie Johnston, joined with
Linda Pickenpaw on this breezy day.
Yes, this is a typical winter day, but we've been spoiled with almost 70-degree days for the past couple days here in February. So that's Ohio for you.
That's right.
Well, the weather can sometimes play with your emotions, and our topic today is kids and emotions and how we can rely on our essential oils to help them cope with their emotions. So I, in doing our little bit of preparation for today's video, I did kind of come up with a concept that kids and their emotions is a really big deal. I know we're talking like littles and kids, but I think as we start to address emotions, even when they're little, the way we do it helps them learn how to cope as they get older. So I mean, everybody knows that emotions and mental health is such a huge topic for us. And I think it's really important for us as the adults to learn how to cope so that when we address our kids and the little ones, that they see us knowing how to do it, but us being able to be calm and talk to them in a way that even though they're like exploding and not being controlled, if we as adults are able to be calm and address them, it also is a very great coping mechanism for them to see and learn. But then having those oils to fall back on, and maybe the kids see us using oils when we're upset, or we bring out an oil when we know they're upset, they start to learn, oh, when I feel like this, I can also use an oil. So no matter how old they are, this whole process of learning how to deal with emotions is very important. You feel the same about that, Linda?
I do. I guess just because, I don't have littles in my house anymore. I don't have anyone except for a husband. But I have seen the grandchildren, and I have seen things that they have experienced. My youngest daughter has young children that do not live with their parents, but live with my daughter, but yet they have visits to their parent. And what happens many times is on the way home, those emotions just, because I was thinking as we were really looking at this that, when life is sort of out of control, where do you belong? What is your life about? Then those emotions come out in a lot of different ways. And then I also have listened to my sister lately as she is helping to care for her granddaughter, and talking about that emotions that little girl has went through with not being attached to her mother, and yet her mother is doing some hospital stays, and so that's created some emotions. And so how do we start helping our children really learn early on how to deal with these, not to suppress them necessarily, but to deal with them in a healthy way that then leads to becoming a healthy adult emotionally as well. So,
right. Yes, I think all of that is very important. And I think it's one of those evolutions as a parent that you will deal with emotions, and you'll have to figure out the best way, to respond to your child. And I'm sure as a teacher, there's many times when there were children in your classroom who had emotions and you had to, comfort them or, help them all through that too.
The response. Probably one of the best books that I ever run across was a book called Teaching with Love and Logic. And they also have Parenting with Love and Logic. And the one I really needed as the boys were growing up was Grandparenting with Love and Logic.
Oh.
But one of the things I remember, learning from my daughter, because, kids would come in and they're either tattling or they're all this, and she would say, "Oh, excuse me, I don't take tattling at this time, but you are welcome to come at 3:30 and make an appointment. You need to make an appointment with me at 3:30 and we will talk about it." And it just like, oh, stops you in your tracks, and it's like, okay. But there were just things like that it's okay, this is logical. Let's not be, it's not punitive, when you'd like to say, just sit down and be quiet, but you're actually making them think, and let's deal with this, in a different way. But yeah, so.
I know when I first started using oils, one of my friends who had started at the same time, her son was, I think he was like 3 or 4. He was very little, but he spoke. And he had gotten in trouble for something and he was crying and he went to have a time out. And all of a sudden, she's in the kitchen and he's in this other room. She can smell lavender. Strong smell of lavender. And she's like, "What in the world? Why do I smell that lavender?" She goes in and finds him and he's dumped like the whole bottle of lavender. "What are you doing? Well, you said to use it when you needed to calm down." He just poured it everywhere, but he was little and he knew what he needed. So I never forgot that story.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So we have many oils in our collection that help with emotions, many blends, but specifically for the kids, we have the children's line, and it has oils in there that are great. They're already diluted and they're really soft, fragrant blends that they are attracted to that can help them deal with their emotions, whether it's sadness or anger or fear. There are oils in it for that. But like that little boy, and he knew to go to the lavender, it's almost recommended that when you're working with your kids to kind of allow them to sit and look at the oils that you think would be good for their emotions and let them smell and choose the ones that they're most drawn to. And that'll help them cope. So that's, I think, always a good thing to learn, is that you can sit there with the oils and give them that choice too. And it doesn't have to be a time, maybe even when they are dealing with emotion. Maybe it's just a fun time where you're letting them smell the oils, and when you see which one they're most attracted to, you can pull that out when they're having, a stressful day.
I remember I gave a set to both my girls with their littles, and I remember when we gave it to one grandson, or to the parents, and what happened was there are little cards that come with those children's oils. Yes. That just tell what they are and actually give a very simple explanation, just a few words of what to use it. So here, so I brought them down and he took them and he started reading through them, and he was just taking them off to his room, and his mom was like, "Oh, no, we're not doing that." But, here are these cards, you can just read through, and he was reading, and he, he was probably first, second grade. But he thought, "Oh, okay, these are for me." And they, simple explanations and let's go, let's take them. So, but they do make them very, very child friendly, child understandable. And while they're diluted, they are not just like adult oils. They're not the same, but they have a few different oils that are just special for children. And
Yes, yes. I think they are, they're fun, the way they're colored, they have the colorful, labels on them. So that's also attractive to the kids, and they just know. And my girls will carry a couple of them to school. Maybe it's for if they're feeling anxious, or maybe might also be the one for the tummy too. They carry that one a lot, but they do like to carry those kids' oils to school. They still like those. I always have them in the drawer in the kitchen. That's where I keep mine, right there, so we can pull them out real quick when we need them and use them. So one of the ones that we highlighted this week was the Console, which is a great one for when they're sad. So just like the name says, it's a great one if they're dealing with some sort of grief, or just, who knows, sadness from not wanting to share a toy. The Console is a really nice one for them to use. And it's not one of the kid oils. This is just one of our regular line oils, and it does come in a form where you can, there it is, you can diffuse it as well. So if that's maybe a situation that happens often, then you might want to diffuse that oil more often, so that it's always in the air and can kind of keep them grounded and comforted.
Well, when I was looking this up and thinking more about it, because they really do recommend that and it does come in a small bottle of oil, that you diffuse that and snuggle up with your child. But I was looking up things because I was thinking, dealing with sadness, because here my sister said the other day they had to drop her daughter off at the hospital for blood work and doctor's appointments, and so her little girl cried all the way home.
Oh,
and you're like, oh. And I thought, oh, we need we need to think of car diffusers. But what if you don't have a car diffuser that you could actually take a scent pad? And I even thought it wouldn't just be a scent pad, but you could, like the little makeup pads that you can get. You could actually take one of those. Or the other thing that I read about was to make an aroma jar that you put a bunch of cotton balls in it, and you actually drop some essential oils into it. And then you could actually take the lid off. You would have it up by you or somewhere in the console in the car. And that way you would be able to have that being diffused out. But what I found was a Happy Kids mist also. And that was where you would actually put in 10 drops of spearmint and 10 drops of tangerine and 5 drops of geranium. And geranium is a grounding blend. And then of course your citrus, and mostly kids really like spearmint because spearmint, they really do. And you could actually mist that around, or I would say put it in an aroma jar, and put it there on the console of your car. And when it's like you need that happy mist, unscrew the lid and let the aromas just go. But I just thought, oh, an aroma jar and a Happy Kids mist. There's lots of times we need those.
Yeah, so. Definitely. Well, another one of the emotions that we deal with is anger, and helping them manage their anger. You can use our oil blend Peace. So that's another grown-up one. It's not in the kids collection, but that's a great one that you could also diffuse. It wouldn't be as sweet as the spearmint in the blend that Linda was talking about. More, it's a little more minty, but it does help really calm and center whoever's dealing with the anger, whether it's you or the child. But I think, like we talked about before, if a child is angry and throwing a tantrum, and if you were to go get the Peace, that would help you as a grown up to also stay calm as you try to help them work through it and comfort them for whatever it is that they are dealing with. So that's another good one for emotions.
Yeah, and that is, as I really actually found several that I was really interested in, because there was one that was called a tantrum blend.
Oh.
And so and that one would be like taking the child's calmer blend and actually applying it to the bottom of the feet, or at the back of the neck, even over the temples. And then you could actually also put, after you put the calmer, add a drop of clary sage. And I thought, oh, it's called a tantrum buster blend. And I thought, that one would be very helpful. And then, because I'm thinking of my own daughter and what she often happens when she's because she has when she takes the children to visit their parents, often when it's an hour, a little over an hour's trip, and when she gets in the car, that's when things start happening that that are just hitting each other, just screaming, fighting. And so I found another one, and I thought, okay, I've got to take this down to my daughter, because we're going down this week to celebrate birthdays, 4 February birthdays. And I found a Joyful Trip car diffuser.
Oh.
And I thought, okay, we need this, a Joyful Trip car. And that was 5 drops of Balance and 5 drops of Citrus Bliss, to put those two. And and I thought you could probably substitute Cheer for Citrus Bliss or Citrus Bloom. And so again, they suggested putting it on a scent diffuser or some kind of a scent pad, or if you have a car diffuser. And we have a car diffuser in our car, and so I'm thinking, that might need to be a good investment for my daughter. So, but I thought Joyful Car Trip, pretty good. Good.
That's a good one. So then we've got the anxious feelings. So it may be that they have to go to school. It's their first day of school. Maybe something new is happening that just makes them feel really anxious, not knowing what the outcome is going to be. And there was the blend that we shared for this. It was one that you would make on your own, but it had Amaris, balsam fir, coriander, and magnolia essential oil. And that blend is the Steady Blend. That's what's in our Steady Blend. And a lot of those kids collection oils have the magnolia in it. And that magnolia is just such a beautiful floral essential oil. And I think it's another one that they're really drawn to. So that's a great one to use when you're having anxious feelings. And I know too, as grown-ups, we also like the adaptive, which would be a good one for anxious feelings. And you could use it for the kids if you wanted it to as well.
Although I would just put it on me so that I could be calm during that time.
Okay, let's see. On the other one, yeah, I think we're close to the end there. I also had the steady blend. I don't think I pointed that one out. I was looking back at steady. I don't know where my notes went on the steady. Oh, the steady one is kind of like the grounding blend. And that one was also good for the anxious feelings. So I skipped over that one. The steady and I don't know. So anyhow,
when I was thinking that, you said grounding. Well, one of the oils in it is the balsam fir. And when you think of trees, most likely we think of, their root system. Sometimes it's above ground and you trip over it, but most times, it really anchors the tree down in there. And you think that, I don't know if you've ever, you lay under a tree and you just watch it. It lives in the present and it's not in a hurry. And so you think it's wow. And that's why they put these tree oils in a grounding blend, because it's just excellent for calming, an overactive child, a child that's had a hard time settling down. And I was thinking it might even be a nice one. We think of anxious feelings, but maybe it's a good one even at bedtime to put on. When you've got a child that's just having a hard time settling down. And I always think lavender, but this one here has, as you said, magnolia in it and coriander, and so just another idea, because not all strokes fit the same folk.
True. Yeah, and you'll figure it out too as you start to present the oils to the kids. You'll see which ones they're more drawn to, and that'll help you through those circumstances. They seem to be able to feel the oils and know what they like quicker than the grown-ups do. And so that's pretty unique with the kids.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully this helps everybody a little bit as they deal with those little emotions that will grow into big emotions before you know it. So, well, everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be back again next Friday.